G'day. You know, travelling in a caravan can be a little bit tedious and can have dramas and challenges some days, almost every day of the week. In this video I'm going to give you 10 little tips to make your caravanning a little bit more comfortable. In fact, stick to the end and I'll give you a little bonus. So without any further ado, let's go. Okay, this is in no particular order. I'm just talking about the anti-flaps that go up on the awning. Now, if you're lucky like me, I happen to have got an anti-flap that is actually part of the awning, which is great, so it gives it some stability. But then what I did was I bought two sets, or in other words 4 lots of little anti-flaps. They're about yay wide. You can screw them onto the awning itself, on the awning material, and then use some Velcro and that holds it on. So in essence, I've actually got 3 different anti-flaps on either side of the awning. Talking about the anti-flap kits, and there's a couple of types you can get. You can get this type, which is the ones that I quite recommend. Quite nice and wide, and when they go up on the material of the awning, they're really quite stable. The other type is, I'm really lucky on my awning bars, there's actually one that's built in. So that gives it one straight up, which is great. And the third type is you can get them that run either about halfway along the awning or each third, and they're big bars that go across and they go to a little hook connection on the caravan. But I'm just happy with these ones and the inbuilt one. And it's just a matter of loosening the nut here. Loosening the nut. Yeah. And then popping it upside down like that, so you're screwing the nut, goes in like so. Flip it in and there it is. So I've got 2 of those that side, 2 of those that side. That gives me some safety on a windy day. It's the gusts that are going to kill it, so fingers crossed. And if it gets really windy, take the awning down. While I'm talking about the awnings, this little clip, little chrome steel clip, actually goes over the cassette of the awning, clips in, and then it gives you an area where you can actually pull the create tension on the awning, which is a great idea. Wrap it over like so, hook it around, so it's hooked in there now. I bought this rope because it's actually 2-way. Instead of being a separate rope there and a rope there, which maybe it's an advantage if one breaks the other one, but I think this will be okay. So it's actually 2 ropes that go out, and then you can have one tied up over there and one tied up over there. Hooks onto this clip, and then once it's hooked in down the bottom, then it's a matter of pulling some tension on it. You should be able to play a little tune on it if it's tight enough, with the springs on the bottom. And there's also something very special on the bottom I definitely want to tell you about. A big saving of money and really quite firm in the ground. This is the one I'm excited about. Now, instead of putting your straight tent pegs, and then you can get, there's a brand called pegs that screw down, you put your little drill bit on it and drill it in, or some people just use coach bolts and washers. A friend introduced me to these. Now I don't even know what they're called, but they've got a special head on them, like a star screw head. They're pretty long, and they will, when you've got them on the drill, I've put it on an impact driver or a rattle gun, they go in to most hard grounds, which is great. Now on the end of just a normal guy rope, what I've done is I've bought a little carabiner, like so. It's the carabiner. I've also bought a length of chain around about that size. So with the length of chain, you'll need to get twice as many, because if you're going to make up 4 pegs, you'll need 8 of these, because one of them you'll be sacrificing to cut the chain links so you can have a single chain link. Yeah, so that goes like so. Carabiner goes into the bottom of the spring, then the drill goes through this like so, and it's already got a head on it, gets caught on the chain link, and as it goes in the ground, and then that gives it lots of tension on the spring, which is great for awnings. That should help. Check this out, random tip, right? Sometimes when your wide door is open, the other door is locked against the wall of the caravan, but as it opens and slams, these door handles are really prone to snap and break. To replace them is not that expensive, but to actually refit them is a real nightmare. So what you can do is you can get a little champagne cork, here's one I prepared earlier, under great sacrifice, and pop it in the little hole there. Put it up the top so that when the door goes to slam, it's just hitting the cork. That's random. Only if you're buying a 20-litre water container. Don't buy this one, it's got a small opening. Instead buy this one, which has got quite a wide opening, and you can drop your pump inside the. You may recall the other day I mentioned about level of the van. Normally there's a little spirit level there, about $5, and you can just, some people glue them to the drawbar, or you can get an app, which is a little app I've got, and then you sit the app actually on the drawbar, check the spirit level, running that way and running that way. As it turns out, this is spot on, which is great. It also means now that my shower won't flood, which is a good thing. And also a 3-way fridge will struggle if it's not fairly close to being level. Well, here's a couple of additions to the van since I've had it, which are absolutely awesome. This one is just a little steel bar that you can buy again at Bunnings. It'll be a bit too long, cut it short, and then you need these 2 little brackets. The brackets actually hold it in like you would make up a little wardrobe to hang your clothes. So you're doing that again at Bunnings, a bit hard to find. And it's really important when you're drilling it here, make certain you go above this area here, otherwise you'll get into the infrastructure of the door and could muck it up. And also put in some padding to make it sit out a bit. But the reason for that is otherwise you can't get your hand over, and the purpose of that is to, when you're in the van, you'll open the door and you can never seem to grab that handle. The handle always just goes and you're falling out of the van to grab it. So if you've got curtains, you grab the curtains, but eventually you get grubby hands on the curtains or you'll break something. Whereas this one here, you've got the whole length of it. As this door is starting to fall open, you just grab any part of this and pull it firm and it closes the door. Now the other thing is, it used to have curtains here, just the same as the curtains throughout the van. A lot of people call them dust catchers. So I've replaced that with a roller blind. And this roller blind is it's not see-through, it's the opposite of see-through. It's block out, that's the word, thank you. It's a block out blind, and again be careful when you're drilling up there that you don't encroach onto the infrastructure of this door, otherwise the door won't open and close, etc. You'll get that, it'll be, I think it was 210 by 900 wide, and I needed something like 550 wide. So I had to cut the material first and then cut the actual pipe inside it, which is, cut that. So it's all nice and tidy now, and then what I can do is pull that down, just make certain that tucks into here, and pull the blind. And once it goes that area, it doesn't really matter, because that's all this part of the bottom of the door is solid. But if you wanted to take it all the way down, as I say, it's block out. When I've got that light on inside, you see absolutely nada. That's nothing. Yeah, so great. And another little trick on that, when you're putting it in, the little insert that sort of gives the weight of the blind, it'll swing easy. So put a little bit of glue on either end on the inside, just to hold it, to hold that weight. And there you go. Absolutely brilliant, seriously. And during the day, I just have it up to there. Great. As we all know, water is the lifeblood of our survival. So what I've done is I bought a little water pump. It's made by a company called Rule, R-U-L-E. It doesn't quite come like this, but I've modified it. Basically, you've got your little pump here, and it'll have a little hose, and I've taken this off, and I've also put little little ties, little clips, whatever they're called, to keep it all together. And also at the other end, I've modified this so it's got a cigarette lighter hanging off it to plug straight in a cigarette lighter. Works really great. Now the real advantage of this means you can either take it to a creek or river, or the other thing you can do is if you're a long distance from where the tap is, and your hose is not going to reach it, what you can do is you can fill up a 20-litre container, take it back right next to the caravan with a little insert to put the water in it, plug this into any cigarette lighter in the van, or if the car's nearby, pop in the pump and it'll pump it out, and then pump it straight into the water tank, which is a great idea. So yeah, and that's a good idea. And as I said before, again, all I've done is I've just got a bag. This could be an Aldi bag or something similar. Pop it in there so that when I finish with it, sure, it's going to drip water, etc., but I can keep it all nice and tidy. Keep it all nice and tidy and zip it up, and then I'll always know not too much water is dripping around the caravan or car, and I'll know that this is the water pump. And those of us who have done a bit of camping or caravanning will know that a lot of it's to do with habits, and it's usually a good idea if you're going to create a habit, make it a good habit. So the habit I've started to adopt is when you've either got this extension cord, or you might have the orange one or yellow one that plugs into the caravan, which I'm using at the moment, that's why I'm not showing you that. You don't want to have that cable sort of running everywhere and it's just in the mud and it's just a mess. So what I've started doing is wrap it all up there and take out the length you need, and then for the remaining, just pop it on the top of the gas cylinder, because you know where it is. You can make it all nice and tidy, goes out to wherever you need it, or goes into the van, whatever is necessary. And the only other thing is, when you take off and head off down the highway, don't forget to take it off. Well, here I am in the throne zone. I've gone out and bought myself a, it's actually called a caravan toilet brush. And the reason I like this, apart from the price, is $15, is that you can either screw it to the wall, and down the bottom it's also nice and flat. And also, this is a yucky topic, I know, you can hold fluid in there, which I know that some people pop a little bit of Dettol or a bit of antiseptic at the bottom just for when they're scrubbing the dunware, the toilet. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of Velcro on here and a bit of Velcro on the bottom, so I'm not actually putting it permanently damaging the caravan. And then it'll be nice and stable when I'm actually driving. I don't have to put it away and it's all ready to be used. As most of you will know, for the water hose that's coming into the caravan, it usually is blue in colour and it's called food grade water hose. Now if you decide to save money and just get a generic hose from home, you're more likely to be tasting that rubbery taste. It's not particularly nice. So there is no taste with this particular grade and any particular brand, but make certain it is food grade hose. Now the reason I'm talking about this particular thing is you may remember when I first got the van, I had the bed, I decided to buy a topper to put on it, just give it that little bit more support and a bit more enjoyment when I'm sleeping. So what I've done is I've used that plastic bag which has a big zip running right across it. Now the reason I've used it is because invariably when you do your water hose pumping into the caravan or wherever it's doing, look, it's dripping everywhere. It's just such a mess. If you put it back into this container, then all the water will drip and stay in the actual plastic bag. All the water will stay in the plastic bag, and then it's just a matter of doing the zip up, and you don't have to worry about it. And you can put it back in the car or caravan or wherever. Might be a good idea at some stage to let it out rather than it ferment in there. But yeah, that's what I would recommend. The other type you can do is the generic you can buy. They're usually quite expensive, and there's a few videos online where you take the hose and you put it in, you've got a special technique and it all wraps around like a little snake. But yeah, you're still going to have water dripping everywhere, so that might be an alternative. Well, there you have it. 10, actually make that 11 ideas to help you enjoy your caravanning just that little bit more, whether it's travelling around Australia or anywhere in the world where you travel. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, until next time, this is 4-Wheel Drive signing off.